Hello and welcome to The Best Thing Going. Today we're going to be talking about why factions are fast becoming the best thing in WWE. So let's not mess about and get straight into it. So over the last year or so, we've seen a lot of factions coming together in WWE, with the likes of the Brawling Brutes, the Judgment Day, the return of the OC, the New Day that have been around forever, and of course the guys that are dominating the industry right now, the Bloodline. So for me, the reason that factions work is simple. It's the best way to execute long-term storytelling. Let's face it, feuds between superstars come and go all the time, and they're over in a month, 2 months, 3 months at best. But a faction might be together for years. Now that leaves a lot of room for character growth. And that growth isn't necessarily built off the back of having feuds. It's built off the back of having other members of your faction around you to bounce off and create stories with. When I think back over the last couple of years of this epic Bloodline story that's been going on, I don't think about any of the feuds that Roman or the Usos might have had along the way. I think about the group and the interactions within the group. That's what's made it entertaining. That's what's brought the characters out, and that's what's got you wanting to watch again week in, week out. Now, if like me, you're very old and you were watching wrestling back in the 90s, you'll remember the Rockers, the tag team of Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. These guys were my personal favourites, but when I think back to the matches they had, they had some great matches, but there's one thing in particular that I remember about the Rockers, and that is the infamous barbershop window incident where the Rockers actually split up. So with that being said, the most memorable thing about the Rockers is not the many great matches they had or the feuds they had. It's the story arc between the two members of the tag team that really lasted. Now, as I recall, when AEW first started, they very cleverly used the Being the Elite YouTube series to showcase the up-and-coming stars that they had on the roster. So it wasn't necessarily the in-ring stuff that was getting people interested. It was the character development that was going on behind the scenes, and that's what made you want to watch the matches. Now, one faction that's really catching my attention at the moment is the Judgment Day. When I think about it, this group already has a rich history of storytelling, starting with a heel Edge, using the Alter Bridge track The Other Side to create an awesome new entrance at WrestleMania. Now, adding Damian Priest into the mix seemed like a strange choice at first, but as the weeks went by and then the addition of Rhea Ripley, the group started to make more sense. And then they bring in Finn Balor, only for the whole group to turn on Edge, which is great storytelling for the faction right from the get-go. Rather than the group just coming together like a bunch of friends who want to hang around, we've actually got an interesting beginning to this group. And then the addition of Dominic Mysterio, which was quite mysterious, I have to say. I mean, this kid's walking around with a physique like a bag of milk. But in fairness, he is Rey Mysterio's son. He does understand the business and he can work. And having Dominic turn on his own father to join the group has given him nuclear heat. So now you roll this whole thing up to try and make some sort of package out of it, and you start off with an excellent entrance theme, a coherent look, Damian Priest walking up and down like an absolute monster destroying people, Finn Balor strutting up and down and really coming into his own, playing that cocky Irishman, Rhea Ripley with that sinister look on her face, whispering who knows what into Dominic's ears, and walking around with a physique that would make a lot of the men jealous, and then Dominic with a face that you just want to slap over and over and over again. It's all working perfectly. But what's really making this group good is the way that they're interacting with each other backstage. Like this week on Raw, there was a backstage segment with Dominic having been sprayed in his eyes by Asuka and her green mist or blue mist or whatever colour it might be. The whole group was rallying around Dom and trying to get a doctor to look at him, with Dom asking, "Is this guy certified?" And Balor quickly responding with, "No, he's an idiot," which I gotta tell you had me laughing my keister off. So I think we need to see more of this kind of thing. I want to see more of this from the OC. I want to see more of this from the Brutes. I want to see these factions bring the characters out of each other, because I think they can be more entertaining doing that than just standing in the rings cutting promos at each other. But again, this is just what I think. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know. Maybe even like the video. That's if you did in fact like it. But if you didn't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best thing going today.